welcome to another edition of 10 for 10, 10 sports topics with the News 10 sports team. I'm Griffin Haas. He is sports director Tommy Valentine. It is Travers week. One of the biggest weeks at the Saratoga Racecourse for the summer meet. Coming off of a big one with the Alabama. I guess we could start with that quickly. Chad Brown, Mechanicville native, winning the Alabama Stakes, pulling off a huge upset with My Guns Loaded. Pulling the upset over Counting Stars, who was going for the Triple Tiara, and was a 1-4, I believe, when Counting Stars went off. My Guns Loaded though pulls it off, so a big win for Chad Brown. Got to get him feeling well going into Travers week.
Yeah, the Alabama, as you mentioned, which is a massive race for the summer. The premier race for 3-year-old fillies. That's kind of been his. He's kind of staked his claim in that race, third victory since 2019, and this one was probably one of the more unlikely ones because, as you mentioned, it was not a massive underdog at 2-1, but still, Counting Stars was such a heavy favorite that it was still, even at 2-1, still a bit of a surprise.
Big win for him, but obviously now all his eyes and all eyes turn to the Travers, a race that Chad Brown has not won, and one that has eluded him. I think probably the race that if you asked him outside of maybe, Derby and other stuff that, if there's a race in Saratoga he wants to win, it's the Travers.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And he's got emerging market in this field, but obviously the headliners and also Sea Strike as well.
Yep.
But listen, this is as kind of loaded of a field as you could ask for.
Balanced.
In the Travers, very balanced field. Mm-hmm. Where last year, obviously Sovereignty kind of reigned supreme and stood out, above the rest. This field is a very loaded field. Golden Tempo, the star of the race, I would say, especially with Cherie DeVoe, and we've seen, what happened, how popular she became, and rightfully so, after winning, the Belmont and the Kentucky Derby. So that Golden Tempo is going to be, I think, the fan favorite, it's safe to say. But then you also have Renegade, who won the Jim Dandy. Golden Tempo 5-2, Renegade 3-1 for Todd Pletcher. No Irad Ortiz Jr. still recovering from an injury, so it'll be Tyler Gaffleone. So that could affect things somewhat. So this is it's a loaded field. I think you have big names like Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, Brad Cox. There's a lot of Marcassi, a lot of star power in this field.
Yeah, and Renegade and Golden Tempo, they've kind of been that 1-2 that's been talked about for much of obviously the run for the Triple Crown and now the Travers, but you can't forget about Napoleon Solo, the Preakness winner, and the Puma is right there, 8-1. There's a lot. I don't know if outside of maybe no offense to Ocelli, but outside of Ocelli, the 20-1 long shot, and probably emerging market. Anybody outside of those two in that 10-horse field, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they won. I think I would still be leaning Golden Tempo right now, or Renegade. That's if I was to place a wager on this race, that would be the route I would go, but I genuinely wouldn't be surprised by too many of the horses that would win this potentially.
No, and listen, I'm no expert handicapper, but I have been paying attention this week to Naira's shows and what they've been Saratoga Live, what they've been putting, and to that point they've said the same thing where it's really outside of Ocelli, which would be a shocker.
Yeah,
you can make a case for every horse in this field. And we haven't, we talked about Chad Brown. You have Sea Strike, who won the Curlin. Baby Vino, who won the Haskell, and Napoleon Solo, like you talked about when the Preakness, second in the Haskell. It is a loaded field. I do think that Golden Tempo and Renegade kind of sit in a little bit of a different lead where obviously every horse can win outside of maybe Ocelli. But I think those two, it's going to be interesting.
They separated themselves a little bit.
Obviously, Renegade, confidence booster, winning the Jim Dandy, but Golden Tempo wasn't in that race. I think the big thing for Renegade and Golden Tempo is that they both run the same way, where they come from behind, late kick, kind of like we've seen with Sovereignty. And so when you look at like styles make fights, styles make races, it's hard to maybe find where, Renegade's gonna have to do something that he hasn't done, which is outkick Golden Tempo down the stretch. It's not like Renegade is going to, get the lead and hope to, outrun Golden Tempo or hold off Golden Tempo. They're going to be doing the same thing. Can Renegade do it better than Golden Tempo, which has not happened to this point? I do think that Golden Tempo somewhat, and I think it's a strong field, gets almost a little bit disrespected in some ways because you have a horse that won the Kentucky Derby. Normally that puts a lot to rest, but there were a lot of doubters about Golden Tempo. Was it a fluke? Going to the Belmont puts up a phenomenal performance. Missed the Jim Dandy, so I think that was a bummer, but, obviously you want to get ready for the Travers. But I still think that, like, any other horse with that resume who's won 4 of 6 lifetime races that just won the Belmont and the Kentucky Derby would be, no matter the field, better than 5-2.
Yeah, and the fact that he's beaten Renegade twice and still only a marginal edge in the odds over him. It's kind of a little bit disrespectful, but Golden Tempo, they had no problem. Cherie kind of talked about that after the Belmont. It was like we felt like we maybe had to prove something, but we shouldn't have because we knew we were the best horse in the Kentucky Derby, and so maybe they'll kind of channel that energy again.
Yeah, I think that there's a world where you can be the favorite in a race and still be undervalued.
Sure.
I think that could be the case here with Golden Tempo. Where I'll say this: if Golden Tempo goes out and does it again, people who might be betting on other horses, or you're going to feel if Golden Tempo goes off at like 5-2 or even 3-1, like, and wins the race, you're going to feel silly.
Like, why didn't I
maybe this
jump
horse
on that?
Is legit.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against him right now. It'd be like betting against Sovereignty.
Yeah, never do that. But it's going to, that being said, it's going to be fascinating because, again, you have a bunch of real players in this field, and it's really anyone's races. Even Ocelli. Let's throw Ocelli
Why
in there.
not?
Well, come on. Let's not disrespect
Crazier
Ocelli.
things. I'm interested to see how Seastrike. I really don't know much about Seastrike. Obviously, won the Curlin, but only 3 career starts, and he comes out at 5-1 odds, third best odds in the field. It's like, well, what have the odds makers seen out of him? It's very intriguing.
Yeah, and one first time out, and then 5th place the second time, and then won the Curlin. But yeah, put up a pretty respectable speed figure, which I think is something that I don't really dive into as much in terms of, like, that's for real horse players, which I would not consider myself to be necessarily, but put up a big figure in that race, which I think that when you look at the figures, not even just the finishes, a lot of these horses have put up huge numbers and huge figures, which is why they all could win the race if they run their best. But certainly a horse we have not seen a lot of, for sure. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one to watch, and I know you and Brian will be there, and we'll have fantastic coverage.
It'll be extensive, as
you always
usual.
do. All right, we're going to take a quick break. A big basketball game to talk about after the break. Welcome back to 10 for 10, and this is a fun one. It was rumored for a while, but it's officially announced that Siena men's basketball and Syracuse will meet in a preseason exhibition game on Sunday, October 18th, 2 p.m. at MVP Arena, and this allows Jerry McNamara, obviously now the head coach of his alma mater at Syracuse, Gavin Doty, who transferred from Siena to Syracuse, Francis Folfack, Tasman Goodrick, all these guys who were a huge part of the MAC championship last year and that awesome NCAA tournament performance against Duke, to come back in MVP Arena and celebrate with the Siena team and the Siena fans and celebrate a championship, which I just think is an awesome thing that that they were able to put together for the fans and for the alumni, which I think this is really for. I saw one of, the people involved in the NIL tweet, like, we did this for the fans, like, please turn out, because, and the coaches did this for the fans, because there's not a lot to gain necessarily from, like, obviously no one cares about the result necessarily about the exhibition, but there's not a lot to be gained out there for, like, Jerry and Syracuse to be playing Siena, God forbid, for them, they don't perform as well and Siena puts up a number on them or something. There's not a lot to gain other than being able to do this for the fans and be able to celebrate. And I think that, we know Jerry, we've covered him over the last couple of years. I think it just affirms everything we know about Jerry, which is, like, he truly cares about this area, truly cares about Siena, and wants the fans to be able to have that moment and them to also be there for it. Because otherwise, it would be really easy to just leave Siena and forget about it. Yeah. And when we air him saying, when I went to the press conference and we talked to him about it, and he said that, he's like, I really care about this place. It's easy to say about that, but I think this just shows it again. That's like, if he didn't care about this place, it would be very easy to just never think about it again and just never do anything.
And it's a cool thing. The guys like Doty and Folfack have to really appreciate it because, they were instrumental and they get to come back and kind of be a part of that celebration. And obviously Gavin was here a couple of years and he was like the fabric of what Siena basketball has become, and the fact that he gets to be a part of that celebration, I'm sure is very important to Jerry as well. And he's just so invested in these players that he's making sure that they get their opportunity and they get their flowers my knowledge of preseason college basketball games is not extensive, but I have to imagine this is one of the biggest preseason college basketball games that's been played in, I would say, across the country in a long time.
Can I also say though that just looking it up, the probably the biggest one before it might be also Syracuse this year because they have an exhibition with UConn on October 3rd.
That's pretty big too.
At the Mohegan Sun Arena.
Jerry's not playing around with the preseason schedule.
They play UConn October 13th at Mohegan Sun. That's
pretty nice.
Pretty big. That's a big one too. Jerry, pretty open about his disdain for UConn. So that is also, but I still would say that Siena's bigger, but like they're not messing around with their preseason schedule. But again, Jerry McNamara, we know he's not ducking anything, so he's not ducking any smoke.
No way.
It's really cool. For Gavin, it will be Siena's first, their unofficial tip-off. So before they even Siena's first game unofficially, Gavin and Francis will be there. Tasman obviously was great too until he got hurt, so he wasn't as part of some of those down the stretch moments while he was obviously on the team. It's very deserving. They deserve to be able to. They're going to be going into a year this year where there's going to be a lot of expectations and there's going to be a lot of focus on that, and they're rebuilding something this year.
There'll be some growing pains.
So they deserve to be able to come into MVP Arena and be celebrated for what they did before they start building kind of something new, although that's obviously already underway. And like I said, I just think it's awesome that, and also not only awesome that Jerry did it, but also awesome that Nevada Smith made that work because, there's maybe some guys out there who would have an ego and be like, I don't want my first time coaching a team. You're, clapping for the other coach and blah, 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 blah. That shouldn't exist, but let's be real. It's sports and it's, high stakes. And I think that certainly could be the case, that they wouldn't want that to especially their first time out. Mm-hmm. So for him to put that aside and focus on honoring the kids that are on his team, like a Brendan Coyle. Yeah. But also honoring the kids who left his program, knowing it was the best thing for them, and that's what's going to happen in this new modern era of college basketball. honoring the kids that left their program. Who knows? Again, coaches with ego might be like, you left our program, we're not going to
celebrate you.
Yeah, we're going to hang a banner for you here. No, he knows how important that was to the players, the fans. So to be able to bring everybody together like that is just awesome. It was, I mean, you say it's a no-brainer, but there's a lot of reasons why that could have maybe not happened. Yep. And so for it to happen, it rocks.
Yeah, a Sunday afternoon. I mean, I know they'll have to conflict with football, but other than that, I mean, that place should be. I don't want to talk about it.
That's my one hang-up.
I know
is that I was like, I am gonna be there, and then I saw it was on NFL Sunday. I still might be there, but boy, is that tough.
That
is
a little
Brian,
bit
I talked about this with Brian, and Brian made a great point that like Syracuse has college football, so they probably don't want to put that game on a Saturday. Take away from their football team potentially, or people watching that. So
Friday gets dicey with high school football, so I mean it makes sense.
No, but like we'll put it on a Friday, or put it on a Monday,
Thursday,
or a Tuesday, or Thursday.
No, Friday. It conflicting with the NFL isn't ideal.
Sunday's tough. We're gonna get to UAlbany in a second. They're opening their season against New Hampshire, which we'll talk about. Syracuse also opens their season against New Hampshire. I was just checking to see if they have a game. So that's October. What day do we say? It's 18th.
18th.
Syracuse.
Yep.
Oh, Syracuse plays on the 17th. It's a Friday game in Syracuse. Come on. All right. You know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to be that guy.
We're just going to
It's
celebrate.
positive. We're not going to talk about how it should have been on a Saturday. We're not going to do that, Tommy.
I'm not.
Stop thinking it.
I'm not. I'm done. It's forgotten.
Talking baseball when we come back. Something back. It's 12:15 when we're recording this show. Full disclosure on Thursday.
Thursday morning.
I saw October 17th for the football game for Syracuse against Louisville. Big game. Yeah. I said it's not the same. It's the day before. No, they could. Of course, it's the day before, which means it's on a Saturday.
It is.
So the Syracuse game is on a Saturday. So that is why they did not put it on a Saturday. My apologies to whoever. You know what? I'm not apologizing. I'm apologizing for getting it wrong. All right, we're moving on to baseball. The New York Yankees, I would say, obviously had a great series against Baltimore. Won the Blue Jays series, and have taken split the first two games of the Astros
back
series.
to back and forth.
But we'll get to some injury news in a minute. They've narrowed the gap even more with Tampa, and you were not here last week, but I gave the Yankees a lot of credit because, I mean, it's also partly because the Rays slipped up, but I would say that 2 weeks ago, you and I were both talking about how this division is not going to be a possibility, so that's kind of we're talking about ceilings, all that stuff. Well, the ceiling raises at least a little bit in terms of getting to the World Series if you can win the division. They have now put themselves back in the position of where it would be possible to win the division. Now only, again, when we're recording this on Thursday, 3.5 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays. Cody Bellinger back.
Huge.
Stanton.
Gone.
Giancarlo Stanton, man of the calf strains. He strained his other calf.
Those calves will get you.
That's what happens when you start getting outside, I guess.
You start running when you go above
he got outside.
A certain speed.
They were pumped when he went outside. And then before you know it, his other calf was strained. Anyway, so that is a tough loss because Stanton's been a great bat in the postseason for them, even when he's not healthy during the regular season. Gets to the postseason, and he's turned it on. We're kind of early in his career. He had more of a reputation, I feel like, of being a non-playoff performer.
Yeah, if he got there at all with the Marlins.
But even early in the Yankees tenure, I feel like he kind of scuffled a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the last 2 years, like the World Series run, he really turned it on. So that's tough. Luis Garcia and his replacement has been fantastic.
Needed him. Got him. Thank God he's here.
We're not going to do another ceiling talk.
No, we won't.
I will say
his ceiling's
great, but again, I think that now he is the Stanton replacement.
Yes.
Which then does not necessarily raise their ceiling. So that was part of that discussion.
Yes.
But regardless, you're glad you have him because you don't have Stanton now. So
we're not DHing.
The ceiling would have been a lot lower had you
not DHing Paul Goldschmidt.
The roof would have maybe caved in
potentially
if they did not have him and then lost Stanton.
Correct.
So he was Stanton insurance, which boy do you need it.
Yeah. You always need Stanton insurance.
So I think you could tell me. I think you're feeling relatively good in Yankee land. Obviously, closing in on the Rays. George Lombard, does he have a shortstop fielding problem?
No. People forget just how good he was to start. Now, to any player, 5 errors in as many games is
5 errors, 5 games is not good.
Disconcerting. You knew there was going to be some degree of drop-off after he came so hot out of the gates. This is more of a drop-off than I would have preferred.
I would have expected at the plate. I did not expect it to be a complete defensive lapse.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but...
I'm not saying it's necessarily like, oh, this is like a bad... I think the point is also that I'm obviously joking to an extent, but also the fact that one of the big additions is a rookie, and he is going to go through these kind of things, and you hope that he figures it out, some of these things out.
A lot of the plays are difficult, but
you are going to be relying on a
rookie shortstop.
A rookie shortstop in the postseason, which is this stuff comes with it.
Yep. But for the most part, I mean, just the caveat, I just can't get too excited about this team until I know the status of Aaron Judge, because it's just... this group in particular is only going to go so far. And
it's also just very they've been finding ways to win. When you look at their lineup, there's just not a lot to get excited about.
There's too many holes is the
outside
problem.
of 2 through 4 right now.
Yeah, there's too many, and like that's what they're doing right now. And they're piecing it together. Like Jazz has a great game. Wells maybe contributes. Rice has a really good game, but I just feel like the last few years when they've gotten to the postseason, those fringe guys, the Jazz Chisholms, the Austin Wells, the Ryan McMahons, they've just gone straight into the toilet. The Trent Grishams, they've just gone right now. They're balancing out each other well enough to win games in the regular season, but when it comes to the postseason and they're seeing everybody's best stuff, that's when it starts to go downhill. And then we're in the same boat that we've been the last couple of years, where it's like the Yankees get to the postseason and they can't string together hits. And Aaron Boone sits there and says, "Well, we won 100 games in the regular season."
So you're basically describing the exact thing I was trying to say 2 weeks ago. So have we come around on that?
A little bit. I was more encouraged because we weren't I was like,
well, it's exciting. It's right with the trade deadline.
Giancarlo will come back, and that was like Max.
Again, even if he did, you can't play both. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, we don't have to do that again. But Max Fried was back, and now it's like little things are just like little dominoes keep falling in a bad way. Like Fried's banged up again, and we lose Fernando Cruz potentially for the year, and Stanton's done for the year, so we can't even have that kind of righty-lefty combo that I was hoping to have potentially with him and Garcia, or just even that extra option of bringing Garcia off the bench and maybe sitting Rice for a day or something like that. It just limits our options, and I feel like just as this team progresses, the options are becoming more and more limited, and it's just and we need Aaron Judge to come back because I can't rely on 2 rookies in that lineup, Spencer Jones and Lombard. And
it does seem like Fernando Cruz is done for the year because he was Aaron Boone after the game.
He's probably going to get Tommy John, and it's just
either way.
I cannot confidently send out a lineup that has 2 rookies, Trent Grisham, Jazz Chisholm, and Austin Wells. Just notorious strikeout guys, and then 2 rookies, and Ben Rice is tapered off, he's not the electric guy he was at the beginning of the year. There's just too many question marks outside of the starting pitching rotation, which I think will carry us further than it did last year. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if there will be enough offense on this team without Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with Aaron Judge is great. It's what I've been saying. A lot of those points fall into it. I just have a hard time believing, outside of maybe the starting pitcher, that this team is any better than the teams that they've had in the past. Maybe a little better.
Yeah,
but in terms of winning a championship, it's again, like you said, a lot of these guys you can piece together in the regular season when other starting staffs, like even like the Astros, whatever, they're piecing it together sometimes pitching wise or whatever, or trying to make the postseason. When you get into a postseason series and all your cards are on the table and you're throwing all your best guys, how many big hits are Spencer Jones, Jazz Chisholm, Austin Wells, and Caballero going to get?
Yeah, not many.
And even, again, I'll throw Lombard into that mix also because he's a rookie, and, like, that's a different ballgame. Mm-hmm. We've seen rookies come alive in those scenarios. Yeah. Michael Conforto even was great for the Mets in 2015. Like, they can actually – Michael Harris for the Braves was a young guy who gave them a spark. Like, it can happen, but you're looking at the numbers, the statistics – probably doesn't. And then again, also Trent Grisham being at the top. So it's like
it's not the guy you want
outside of Rice, Garcia, and Bellinger in the middle right now. Those are three guys you feel relatively confident in.
And that's why I do feel like this team has better potential, because I feel like the last couple of years we relied so heavily on that Judge-Stanton combo.
But last year you could say it was Judge, Bellinger, and Stanton.
I don't even think Belly was as good. Like, he came on pretty well late, but like even he wasn't. I think he's been better this year than he was last year. I could be wrong.
He hit 272 last year. He's hitting 258 this year.
Yeah, and he's dropped off recently.
29 homers and had 98 RBI last year.
Yeah, but the addition of Ben
also,
Rice
can't
becoming.
He not hit on the road this year? Isn't that a thing? Am I making that up? No, he's hitting 205 on the road and he's hitting 320 at home.
That's not great. I really need that division.
I think he was below 200 for a little while, which is what I was thinking of, but still 205.
Yeah, that's concerning. Great. But we didn't have Ben Rice wasn't the performer that he was now, so that.
But even if we're getting into
hope.
This, it's marginal.
Yeah, Ben Rice is strides better than he was last year.
I'm not talking about Ben Rice. I'm talking about if we're talking about is this team better than last year? It would be, even if you said yes, it's marginally better.
Marginally better hitting wise, and I would say relatively significantly better pitching wise. I personally believe in the bullpen is concerning me now.
Schlittler's better than he was, but Schlittler was great last year in the post, and so but in Fried, Cole is better than throwing Rodon in Game 3.
Yep.
We all know that.
The bullpen does scare me now a smidge, especially with the injuries racking up.
This is exactly why they had to make moves, and I was trying to say that.
And they have options, though. That's the thing. It's like, again,
they threw Michael Fulmer tonight. We didn't even know Michael Fulmer was still pitching.
That was an emergency situation, like Luis.
But you shouldn't be in that position.
No, you shouldn't. Luis Heel is down in AAA. Like, that's a potential option. Again, Will Warren's probably going to get moved to the bullpen. Like, but again, they will be able to fill those holes come postseason time. I think a lot of Yankee fans, and I as well, saw this coming, where it's like, I understand that there wasn't the top end guy necessarily out there, and that's what the Yankees needed the most. But when you then do trade away even two bad relievers out of your bullpen, you need to bring in guys that are depth pieces, because then you open yourself up to a situation like this where they're going to be kind of up against it. And obviously, it's going to be tough down the stretch of the regular season, because you need guys, you're just going to need arms to get you through the dog days. But I feel relatively confident in the depth come postseason, because you've got the top three: Tim Hill, Yarborough, who can give you a lot of length, and then you start to work in those starters. It's the quality.
But this also isn't the dog days now. This is the stretch run. Like, they need to be they're 3.5 games out of a division.
No,
like,
I agree.
It's not like we got to get through this.
No, I agree.
You have to go out and win games. And to do that, they're now going to have to throw again, and they're going to have to keep throwing the same guys. And then those guys get worn out. And obviously, hopefully for Yankee fans, Hedrick bounces back. But his last time out was rough and threw 27 pitches and gave up 3 runs. Are guys like that going to start coming back to veering the other way because they have to throw more, and there's no yes. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But having other guys, having a guy if they traded with the Mets, not even say Luke Weaver, Huascar Braziban, to be able to throw in the 7th inning of a game down the stretch. The Mets did not get much for Huascar Braziban. I mean, they got a couple prospects.
Yeah.
Hopefully they turn out to be good. I think it's a good move for the Mets because you get lottery tickets. Tell me the Yankees couldn't find 2 prospects to throw together to get a guy like Huascar Brazaban, who has been very good for, 7th, 8th inning. Like, those are the guys that help get you to win the division, keep your other arms fresh, and then also can be factors that, who knows, if they get hot in the postseason. So the bullpen will concern me. You're still relying on Paul Blackburn, who has a 1.70 ERA. You cannot criticize him, but
He's been spectacular.
When is it gonna change?
I'm waiting for it to happen at the worst time.
The man has a career ERA of 4.5, and hasn't had an ERA below 5 in a total year since 2024. Wait, no, yes, 2024. So I don't know, like, when is it gonna drop? Now, I guess he's pitching more exclusively in relief than he ever has, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, last year he did it and wasn't very good at it, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he just ends up being really good.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Would be shocking.
But no, and that is probably more so than the depth. I'm concerned about the quality of the back end, and that's why I really wanted a high leverage guy because, again, if we are rolling out Paul Blackburn in the wild card series against the Red Sox up 1, I have little to no faith.
And also, if you have 2 games in a row where you're throwing Hedrick in the 8th inning, and say you get to a game where it's okay, we can't throw him. We've had 2 close games. Now we have a third close game.
Hill.
Who are we giving the ball to? You're giving the ball to Tim Hill or Paul Blackburn, and then you could say, well, we have starters that we make relievers. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it does not.
No, I know.
So that would be the concern. But I think even an even bigger concern is just having any thought that the guys below 4 in the lineup are going to contribute anything.
Yeah.
When you're playing the Red Sox and that pitching staff, how many big hits is Austin Wells and Jazz Chisholm? How many big hits are they getting? I just don't have any confidence in that.
No, and you just have to hope that Rice and Garcia and Belly and Judge get hot at that time and can carry us through that series. I mean, and it's possible. The options are there, but it just hasn't proved to work out the last couple of years.
Well, we have a big series starting, if you're watching this, on Friday.
Technically today.
Today. Big series starting up for the Yankees. Yeah, I should say we were recording this on Wednesday, so if you're watching this, we did not see the last game of the Astros series, so we don't know what happened, but fill in the blank for us. The big series between the Yankees and the Red Sox, the last time that these 2 teams will meet, the Red Sox have won, what is it? They won 2 or 3 in Miami, and they've swept the Giants, so now 5 of their last 6 games. The Giants stink. So, I mean, yeah. And if you take it back, what is it? They've won 7 of their last 9, if you include the Diamondback series. So the Red Sox back to playing good baseball. And now I really ruled them out for the division. They're only 6 back.
Yeah.
So even they're in it. We were talking about it last week with Brian. It's well, you can't rule them out. They were 8.5. But it'd be tough to make a run at that. Now you get to 6. It's all right, well, you've made up a couple games. This is a big one in Yankee Stadium because of what we're talking about right now. The division, the top wild card spot. That's, they're separated by 2.5 games. If one team were able to sweep, I mean, all of a sudden the Red Sox can be looking at making a divisional run.
Yeah, not even for the division. This could potentially dictate who gets home field if the wild card pans out the way we're planning it to.
For sure. I do think, though, that would be a big one. I guess if the Yankees lost this series, it would be a little bit easier for them. But, if the Yankees go out and win this series, there's a chance that maybe they could kind of quell the Red Sox division hopes.
Yep.
Obviously, depending on what the Rays do. So it's like we were just saying, we're getting now into the stretch run where obviously there's a lot of baseball left to be played, but when you play your divisional opponents and you play them for 4 games, it's a big one.
And this is a pretty wild disparity looking at this. And if I had told you these would be the stats on late August, I think you'd be stunned. The Boston Red Sox have a team batting average of .251 to the Yankees' .230. And so much of the narrative at the beginning of the season was that the Red Sox just inability to hit. And the fact that they are 21 points higher as a team batting average than the New York Yankees is
I'll say this,
staggering.
The Yankees have, maybe outside of Contreras, their top guys are better, especially when healthy, in terms of Judge, Ben Rice when he's going. I would never thought I would have said this, but there are more guys on the Red Sox, not even close, that would trust to get a hit.
Yeah, they're almost not quite to the degree that the Blue Jays were last year, but they're along that similar model where you just have scrappy hitters. Rafael is at 285, and Contreras is around 280, and Abreu's 252. Like, they don't have, outside of the bottom of their lineup, they don't have those 190 guys and 215 guys.
But then you throw in Sogard, who's just a pesky guy. Siegler's been pesky. Duran, who knows? Maybe the grand slam that they had in extras will start to wake him up a little bit.
Durbin's 256.
Monasterio somehow is still in the 250s. And then you Caleb Durbin is at 250 after being well below 200. And then even just having guys off the bench like Eli White, who's just always a pesky winning player. Connor Wong behind Adley Rushman has been.
Jasper's been good.
Solid. So they just have more guys where it's all right, we need a big hit. There's more guys in the Red Sox I trust right now to get them.
More in totality, yeah.
Yes. 1 through 9.
There's no one in that, outside of maybe Contreras, where I'm if he steps up in a big moment, I'm like, crap, this guy's getting a hit, as opposed to the Yankees. But from top to bottom, this lineup, there's nobody where there's fewer guys where I'm like, well, that's an automatic out.
Honestly, even right now, the Yankees, I think because of Luis Garcia has been so hot. Maybe you would say that with him, but with Ben Rice early in the season for sure, but not as much.
Still Ben Rice.
I still would be I don't want to face him.
Yeah,
but I'd rather probably face I'd probably rather face him than Contreras.
It's close.
I guess
Ben still has 38 homers now.
Yeah. I guess also if I'm thinking of getting a hit,
35.
just because Contreras, has is hitting 281, and still has 26 homers.
But the moral of the story is that the Red Sox have fewer automatic outs, because again, when you get to the bottom of the Yankees
where
lineup,
their whole lineup early in the season was an automatic out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it just flipped. They're pesky. They play defense. They pitch.
Those are tough teams to beat in October.
Yeah, I mean, again, we'll see. They could be. I don't it would be a coin flip who would win the series, but are they better built as a postseason team, a team that puts the ball in play and has pitchers rather than big swing and miss, which the Yankees constantly seek. They love swing and miss.
They do, unfortunately.
It's
a big thing, and Cashman apparently is getting rewarded for it.
They love some good swing and miss.
They do.
All right, let's go to the Mets quick. Not really much to talk about because we're kind of just the Mets are kind of they're playing well.
They're just playing for fun.
They're playing all right. They have if they had split the first two with the Brewers. So again, fill in the blank what happened in Game 3. You let us know. They lost the White Sox series. They lost the first game and on a walk-off, and the last game on a walk-off. So it's a close series after taking 2 of 3 from the Padres. I'm just going to repeat myself if I talk about the Mets because, what you have to watch. Let's just talk about Carson Bench because I just keep talking about him. But
good ball player.
He should be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
I saw DraftKings odds. He was not, when I checked a couple weeks ago, because I was like, I think Bench should win. I wasn't looking for any betting reason. You can't even bet those kind of things in New York. I'm more so looking at, does he have a realistic shot to win? Nolan McLean was on the list a couple weeks ago, and he was not. And I was like, that's wild. Now he's third on the list behind JJ Weatherholt, and I'm drawing, Sal Stewart.
He's put up, I think Benj has put up significantly better numbers than Weatherholt.
Yeah, but right now on FanDuel, Benj is plus 700, and Weatherholt is plus 130, and Sal Stewart's plus 160.
That makes little to no sense.
Any sense to me.
If anything, that's rude to Sal Stewart. The man has 100 RBI. Leads the majors. He's spectacular.
That's pretty crazy. If he won I would be like, okay.
It should go Stewart at minus like 210 right now, and then Benj in like low plus money. This is unbelievable. I didn't know. I'm sorry, Sal Stewart. I wasn't familiar with your game.
Now, I don't know how Sal is defensively.
Sure.
I don't know how that factors in, because what I will say about, and again, Weatherholt, great defensive player. Carson Benj is obviously proving that he's an absolute weapon in right field, throwing people out left and right at the plate. So it's not like you can say, well, Weatherholt's a better like defensive player by leaps and bounds. I mean, Carson Benj's batting average is almost 40 points better. He has one less homer. He has 5 more RBIs, and he has a better OPS. So in what world should he be below J.J. Weatherholt in the NL Rookie of the Year vote?
Yeah, that one's puzzling.
Even Sal Stewart obviously has the offensive numbers, especially RBI, which some people say has now become overvalued. I'm a traditional stat guy. You could say that he has maybe more, depending on the numbers, more opportunities to drive guys in.
Sure.
Yada, yada. His OPS is only 30 points better than Benj's. So if you look at that as more of an all-around indicative offensive indicator, he's not that far off. And I think that Benj, again, has proved his value defensively. But either way, my main point, Carson Benj, Rookie of the Year, campaign starts now. And most of all, makes one of the reasons that makes the Mets watchable.
Yeah, it's still entertaining. Lindor's unbelievable catch the other night, and
they've been playing passionate. They've been playing fun. Their bullpen is unbelievable, which is hilarious.
No names.
I don't know who any of them are, but they've been phenomenal. They traded their whole bullpen, and somehow their bullpen improved, which makes no sense.
Devin Williams going on the IL is definitely an improvement.
That probably helped. All right, we're gonna just talk about the Valley Cats really quick. I'm not going to even go. How many games do they have left? Is this the final? I think they've just played their
entering their final homestand.
Week.
So they got about 10 left.
Not good. 20 games under 500, second to last in the Frontier League. Made a couple trades. Listen, they're playing for fun.
Yeah, it's tough to see Arlo Marinchek go. Obviously, a local guy. They traded him away. That's unfortunate. You just like to, selfishly, as a hometown guy, you like to see him stick around and watch him and keep tabs on him. But they're built into the future, and that move makes sense because he's a valuable arm to many teams. But it's just one of those situations where it's like kind of just let's look ahead to 2027. The ship has sunk.
You can still go out to the Joe and enjoy a game. They're fun games.
They got fireworks on Sunday. That'll be fun. Their final home game of the year. But other than that, the baseball hasn't been great.
No. We're taking a break. Be right back. Welcome back. It is college football.
It's a beautiful thing.
You love to see it. Gets
Best
underway
time of
year. This weekend. And again, if you're watching this on Friday, if you're watching it at 3, the game against New Hampshire for UAlbany is still to come. If you're watching it at 7, keep watching this and then turn on the UAlbany game that started at 7. UAlbany takes on New Hampshire, CAA test right out of the gate. Which is their first CAA out of the home opener, I think.
Yeah, first CAA season opener since the spring 2021 season. And prior to that, it was 1999. Not something that you see very often.
At home. It's going to be, Tom Perkovich era begins. New coach. I think with any new coach, especially when you're taking over a program, they're going to be growing pains.
Yep.
You want to lay a foundation, discipline, play close games, and obviously, hopefully, you get some wins along the way. But they're not expected to necessarily compete in terms of the CAA this year. They're picked 11th. Obviously, those predictions mean nothing.
Correct.
But that's what the expectations are.
Yep.
New Hampshire, meanwhile, was picked 4th. And it's pretty tight once you get above 5. Each team had 100 votes plus whatever. So they're going to be tested right out of the gate. Yeah. The big game at home. And it's going to be fun to follow along and see how they do. And again, lay the foundation for this next chapter of UAlbany football.
Yeah, and Coach Perk said it well in the lead up to this game. They just want to be competitive in the fourth quarter. He's not going out and making any bold predictions. We're going to win the CAA. We're going to be a playoff team. He's just like, let's get better and let's be competitive in the fourth quarter. Let's be disciplined, play with energy. And I think that's kind of what you want from a first-year program or first-year, regime, so to speak.
Friday, 7 p.m., football is back. That's also one of the big things I have to take away from here is that football is back. We're going to be talking more football when we come back. We've been doing a season preview for each of our teams as we approach the NFL season. This one's going to be relatively on the quick side because we're running out of time a little bit. But we're talking about the Bills this week. Again, as the Bills always do they have massive expectations. It doesn't matter that they fired their coach. The expectations remain the same. If not, even jump up a notch because you better be right about that if you fire your coach. Their win total, just to show you where they're at in Vegas, 10.5. I think it's the same as the Patriots. So, again, they're kind of obviously the top 2 dogs in the AFC East after getting knocked out by the Broncos last year. In terms of my expectations for them, I think that they're going to be, again, a great regular season team. Yeah. I think adding DJ Moore helps. I don't think that they did enough and really could do enough that really changes my opinion about where they are. They're going to win probably around 11, 12 games. They're going to win the division. But are they going to have enough, similar to what we talked about with the Yankees, to raise their ceiling to get over the hump to be a championship team? I don't necessarily think so. And there's 2 main things for me that jump out. One, I did not like the head coaching move. Not that I don't like that they fired Sean McDermott. Sometimes you need to change the voice. I don't love firing a head coach that couldn't break through and then hiring somebody who's been there the whole time. Yeah. Not the whole time, but has been on his staff for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I hate that. It's just a principle. Joe Brady, who knows? He can end up being a great coach, and I will have to eat my words. It's not even about Joe Brady. It is about the principle of we are not going to change. For instance, there have been a lot of criticisms about their offense the last couple of years going too horizontal, not enough vertical. Well, that's probably not going to change that much because they hired the guy who's been calling the offense. So that's one reason. The other reason for me is that the biggest thing that I think the Bills have lacked, especially offensively, is a true number one, not only just a true number one, but an outside, down the field threat. I like DJ Moore. But DJ Moore is another small receiver who, could DJ Moore go down the field and make a play? Sure, but that's not really his game.
Yeah.
Route runner type, yards after catch, whatever. He's not somebody that I'm hey, 3rd and 8, we need to just throw it up to somebody, or in the red zone, we need to throw it to somebody and make a play. He's not that guy. You have to get him open. So for me, they didn't solve that problem. You can bring in a big receiver, a big name. That doesn't mean that you solve the problem. So now you have DJ Moore at 6 foot. You have Khalil Shakir at 6 foot.
He's still 6.
Listed as 6 foot.
Yeah.
You have Keon Coleman, who has struggled mightily as your big, outside receiver and has had his ups and downs. Might be mostly downs. And then like Josh Palmer, Mecole Hardman, like that just is not late in the game when they need to make a play. I trust Josh Allen to do it. I don't really think that I'm going to look at their offense much differently.
Yeah, and they'll still have, I mean, Josh and the combination of Josh Allen and James Cook alone will get them to that double-digit win total. But, you're right, there is not that just guy that we've seen the last few Super Bowl teams that have had, obviously, you think of, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua and, like, obviously, and, like, just guys, like, along those lines where it's just like, okay, I know that I can rely on him to just be that dude for a big game. And DJ Moore's a great receiver, but he's not that true game-changing number one guy.
It also just feels like I've seen this movie before. It's very similar to the Bills teams of the past. I think the biggest X factor for them, personally, is Dalton Kincaid. If he can elevate and be like a top NFL tight end, I think he can change the equation because he is a sizable guy, can be a seam threat, and can be a red zone threat. I don't think it's come together as Bills fans and the Bills themselves probably would have hoped for him.
Sure.
But he's still a young player and can take that step. If he takes that step, that could be the game changer. But other than that, like I just don't see anything on the offensive side of the ball. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like I'm a Dolphins fan. Like Bradley Chubb's old. He had 8.5 sacks last year. He's old. Like he'll get to the pass. Like he'll play third downs, get to the passer a couple of times. But like, is that gonna like change their defense mightily? Like, no, I don't think so.
It's
like
a similar move to when they got Von Miller.
They added C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the outside. Like that's a nice move. But like again, does it like change my opinion about their defense? Like, no, not really. So there's just even in a year where the Bills changed a lot in terms of the coach, I don't think a lot has changed because the coach was already there and a lot of the players are the same.
Yeah.
So I think they are, I was going to say it, they're the Yankees of the NFL right now.
That's a painfully accurate
The
statement,
only difference is the Yankees have won 27 championships and the Bills have won 0. Sorry, Bills fans, but that's the truth. But right now, it just feels like they're the Yankees where they've had the same problems. They don't really address them. They win 90 or 11 games.
They make little tweaks.
And it's like, hey, no, we were right there. We were right there. We were right there. No. We wouldn't get there
I'm listening to Aaron Boone.
But then you get there again, and you're like, oh, we're in the same spot as we were last year. And we have the same problem.
Josh Allen, Aaron Judge.
Both great, tall human beings who
plagued by
might not have enough
shortcomings.
help around them and have been trolled for not being able to win the big one. And that narrative is going to get louder for Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen, it's already there, but Josh Allen is an awesome dude and is very likable.
And in those games, he's rarely the problem.
Right. But it's going to start being more of a narrative as that continues. So I think we're kind of on the same page with them. I would think that they will win more than their win total.
I would take 12
games.
probably. I would take 12.
I would take them over 10.5 games, but I'm not worried about them in the regular season.
Yeah.
And neither are their fans. They're worrying about winning a championship. Although I will say winning the division is an important route to that, and I do think that they will do that. So I would pick them to win the AFC. So we've already talked about the Patriots. I'm not a huge fan of them. Okay, speaking of the Patriots, Kayshon Boutte. Is it Boutte or Booty?
It is Booty.
It is Booty?
Yep.
I've heard that go a couple ways, so I just wanted to make sure before I called him Booty.
You want to make sure you got that one right.
Well, let's make sure we got that one right. He was traded to Houston for a safety who played in 7 games and a 7th-round pick. Listen, not huge in terms of the return. Kayshon Boutte, I feel like he's a guy who showed flashes, but I guess just ended up being the odd man out, especially when you add A.J. Brown,
Dobbs.
And Romeo Dobbs.
Yep.
That's kind of like you end up being the odd man out.
And I think he caused some, I don't know if he was an great off-the-field guy, so I think that factors in a little bit.
I don't know enough about that right now to make an informed opinion. But what I will say is for the Texans, it makes sense because they lost Jaden Higgins to a torn ACL, so they get a talented receiver back. And then real quick, I want to talk about your story, push to it online real quick that you did with a young kid, Bo Davenport, who could be playing quarterback for the Bills.
Yeah, maybe in 10 years. No, great young man from the Cobleskill area. He's in this Little Dogs youth football program. He's overcome a lot in his life, primarily when he was born, rushed to the NICU with a very severe case of Group B streptococcus, and he overcame that, defied expectations doctors had for him, and he has carved out this spectacular football career for himself. And he says it's not just a dream, he's going to be the next quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, and we're all pulling for him, and he's just a great kid and with a great dream.
It's a story you don't want to miss. Go check it out on news10.com. You can also find it on our socials. We just went 10 for 10. Thank you for joining us. Have a good one.